Back from the dead.
Hey yo pretty people, welcome back to FullStack. My name is Galore XP. Long time to see. Yeah, good figure. Yeah, sorry guys, I decided to take a little bit of a break from this series after the last episode was an absolute machinima fest. I really needed this little bit of breather. And guess what? Yeah, I'm back in action. Yeah, that's right. Now, look at this right here. What is this thing? If you watch my episodes, if you do remember some stuff out of them, then you know that this thing right here is the thing that I use to deliver stuff back from my mining expeditions. This is basically a thing that I used to spare on the save up on the inventory space, and it is rather efficient. It's very much a lot of fun, honestly, to use. Like, you just drop an item and it just goes bloop, and it gets delivered all the way back to my base. Glorious setup, absolutely love it. Very fun to use. Guess what? Entirely pointless now. You know why? Because we have shulker boxes. That's right, everybody. FullStack has ultimately, finally, freaking renewed. Updated itself. Now I have shulker boxes, and I went into the end. And as an end dweller that I am, I went ahead and just got absolute buttload of them. Just right out of the shop, absolute buttload of them. I died like 15 times while doing so. Not even in the end cities, imagine that. I actually was constantly dying on my way to the end cities, because when Minecraft 1.9 and all the cool end stuff came out, I was like, people, please don't kill shulkers, they're awesome, please leave them be. You don't need to kill all the shulkers to get your elytra. You don't need to kill all the shulkers to get your end cities loot. People didn't listen. People just went ahead and killed every single freaking shulker in 5,000 block radius around the center of the end. And now look at me, having to go explore all the way to 6,000 blocks radius in the end to get at least some shulkers that are still alive. But anyway, now that it's all over, now that I'm very happy with the outcome of my raid, let's take a look-see at what I actually found in that raid. Now, the results may vary, so I'm not promising that you will get the same cool stuff that I did. But let me just tell you that I went into the end. Sorry, not into the nether. I went into the end with nothing except but my ender chest, several, some basic stuff, and I got an absolutely epic loot. So let me just quickly showcase it to you. Now, first of all of the armor that is enchanted in this chest is, of course, found. I did not enchant for this mission. I did not enchant a single thing to get, well, except from this freaking amazing sword. I mean, look at it. I'm pretty sure that this, like, most of this sword actually was a level 30 enchant with, like, not looking at anything, just instantly bam, sharpness 5. Man, was I on was on this on the cloud 9 once I actually enchanted it, because freaking sharpness, looting, knockback, everything you want is just instantly there. I only had to enchant it with, like, unbreaking and maybe knockback. That's all that I remember. Well, and then mending. I had mending on a book, so that's a thing. Now, so those few things I actually got with me, and now I had all this. Well, of course, I also brought a potion of swiftness. I actually had full inventory of potions of swiftness to get me to the damn place. But yeah, that's the point. Now, I also crafted another shulker box, because as you can see, this one was quickly filled up, and that one actually did not color, so it's one of those purple ones, which is not smart of me. I should have really marked it at least somehow. Yeah, but the thing is that even though I did set up, yeah, here it is. Here's all of my potion of swiftness. Only half of them got used. Now I got a bunch of diamonds. This pickaxe. I very much enjoyed this pickaxe. This helmet, some other stuff that I got. I actually did end up deciding to keep this sword just because of the looting. Overall, yeah, a bunch of coolest stuff ever that I honestly don't even plan to use anymore. Now let's actually recolor this shulker box into something right away, because it has swiftness 2 potions in it, and I'm thinking that if I make this my little potion bag, it will be very fun to use indeed. Now, fun fact, you can actually recolor the shulker boxes while they still have their while they still keep their items inside. And yeah, other than those two, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 14 shulker boxes only. This is incredible right here. I have literally no use for them. No, of course that's a lie. I have one use for them. I'm kind of thinking of using them as present boxes for the whatchamacallit, for the Christmas. Yeah, that's if I'll be entirely honest with you, that's one idea that I really like that I have, and I really don't want to do this because shulker boxes, like on the Hermitcraft server, if you watch Hermitcraft, they actually did modify the shulker shell drop rate, so that each shulker gives you 2. So you can just kill one shulker and always get a shulker box out of it. Here we don't have that. You have to kill them with looting free, and even then you don't get a single shulker shell from one shulker. So that's a bit of a bummer, and honestly I don't know if I should even be considering using this kind of stuff in a project that will, you know, be basically a community one. But at the same time, I have this idea that if I color all of them, like some of them red or maybe even pink, I could like put a Christmas tree in the middle of the spawn town and have like presents for every member that still plays on the server. And also I modified my spawner a bit, because, you know, even though I'm not recording, I cannot keep myself from freaking playing on the server. It's much more convenient now, I gotta admit it. And yeah, this is basically a variation on Pixel Riff's design once again, except that he usually uses the pressure plate. I use a button because I think button fits much more. Plus, if you press a button and you leave it on, it actually keeps flushing the mobs into the lava, and they keep dying, so they don't actually stack up while I'm just running across my workshop, walking on stuff and whatnot. So, what else can I use all those shulker boxes for? Honestly, no idea outside of, you know, basic backpacks. But for the basic backpacks, how many shulker boxes do I really need? Another cool thing that they added in 1.11 is the fact that armor stands now display elytra. Yep. Sadly, this only means that I need an additional elytra just so I can have this cool display on the top of my villager's cell. Ultimately, I decided on 3 basic boxes that I have right now in my hotbar. Now, first of all, it is of course Zloy's bacon box, and Zloy's bacon box is a box that I store all my bacon in, because that's logical. Basically, this will always be a single spot for all the beacons I can have, and all-you-can-eat iron buffet. Now, of course, people don't exactly eat iron, but then again, we still use it for some useful stuff. So I decided that if I just carry around all the iron stuff, or all the iron blocks I can have, I will be golden, and if I need a pop somewhere a beacon, I will be always able to do so, because, you know, no matter how many beacons you're trying to do, a full chest of iron will be probably enough to do so. Now, of course, I don't think that I will ever have more than a stack of beacons on this server. Mostly not because we don't have a wither farm, which we do have. It's actually mostly because I'm lazy and I don't really like AFK next to any farm, quite frankly. Then again, I kind of got in a habit of fighting a wither every now and again, or maybe even getting random wither skulls from nowhere. Like the other day, I donated 3 wither skulls to Chameleon. She's actually paying them back to me, which is very impressive. I'm very glad that she actually is embracing it and doing that, because I didn't ask her to do. I actually legitimately donated them for. But that's off point. This is my bacon box. It has bacon in it. Now, I also have Zloy's potion box, which has potions in it, and I of course have Zloy's treasure box, which shall always remain in my ender chest and have an ender chest in it, just so we have a nice nifty little recursion in here. Now, why are all 3 of those things called Zloy's something box? Well, the answer will be obvious to any person who knows me for more than 1 episode. I'm very forgetful. I can see myself losing one of those precious boxes, and I can see somebody finding them and going like, hey, wait, who's this box is? And then they will just read, it's Zloy's potion box, obviously, or Zloy's bacon box, or hey, it's somebody, I have no idea whose it is, treasure box with diamond stuff in it. I should probably rename it so I don't lose it. On the slightly darker side of the update, sadly, my collection of zombie villagers still needs a cleric, but now it also needs a nitwit zombie, which will be really hard to come by, because guess what? That's right, everybody. Zombie villagers no longer spawn from the zombie spawners, which means that if I want to continue my little villager crusade, it's not a crusade, it's actually just, more like villager shenanigans, I need to get actual villager breeder. And if I want to ever get a nitwit, I actually will have to cure all of those 2 villagers, breed them up so they produce a nitwit, and then I need to kill that nitwit using a zombie. That is very interesting. Yeah, interesting indeed. Especially since I don't yet have a walking villager breeder anywhere in my base. Mostly because those require them to be somewhere 100 blocks away from nearest door, and my base is, well, it basically has a lot of doors in it, is what I mean. Now, my one contender for the villager farm location is of course my little manufactory of all the things that I can do currently. Yeah, I actually don't, if you don't remember this place, don't worry. It's only because I barely ever show it to you guys. This is actually my farm of some stuff, really. Don't get fooled by the name of manufacturer of everything I can do currently. It only has 3 different farms in it, and only 2 of them are actually fully automated. Well, to be completely honest, there is 3 completely automated farms. The wheat farm is located further into the town in one of the basements from which the wheat is coming in. Now, then there's ships, which I still have to shear manually, but then again I don't need a large amount of wool. Then there's an auto smelter, which auto smelts all the stuff that you can smelt if you want. And yes, this is a basic setup, which is kind of why I never really show it to you. There's nothing spectacular about it. It's just a bunch of hoppers connected. I actually got a second auto smelter like that down in my grave base. Now, the second layer of this little manufacturer is much more interesting, and I actually did some fun improvements to it. And by fun improvements, I meant that I basically made it like the most efficient thing possible right now with the observer blocks, because let's face it, there's only so far you can go with the say sugarcane farm, because there's only so often you can harvest the sugarcane. I mean, this farm literally harvests it the second it grows. Like the second this little thing grows to that observer block, it's gonna get harvested. I have a setup much like this one, except smaller, of course, because I lack iron on that vault in my pocket edition vault, and it works like a charm, obviously. And this setup actually is kind of, you know, not only longer, it's actually basically two farms looking into each other, and between them, underneath this the ground that the sugarcane is growing on, there is a hopper minecart constantly running back and forth, back and forth. We probably should be able to hear it if I had my... Oh my god, that's too loud. Let's no. So yeah, and since there's a hopper minecart constantly running underneath, this is basically loseless, and this is also basically yeah, very efficient. You can't go anywhere more efficient with this. You could probably possibly go somewhere more efficient with this setup though. But at the same time, once again, it's a farm that harvests pumpkins as soon as the pumpkin grow. So yeah, I can't come up with anything that would work better for me personally, honestly. This is simple, it works, all that I really need from it. So yes, once again, this is tiny bit too close to the rest of my stuff, to the rest of my towns, and you can see that there are doors in those houses. There are actual doors that will interfere with a villager farm if I just plop it randomly in here. Yeah, plus there's a gold farm underneath this very ground right here, so I'm guessing AFK in here is very efficient as it is. Might need to go further away from the base, even further away, but that's the problem. I don't exactly have villagers up here. Yeah, imagine that. My entire base is just swarming with villagers, but not this place up here. But this town is just... it's empty. It has zombies living in it, not actual villager people things with faces and stuff. Those are roaming all down in the graveyard. The only thing I could possibly do to get villagers up here is maybe cure the guys who are in my Patreon Hall of Fame, the legacy patrons that I basically renamed using name tags. Those are zombie villagers, but I don't feel like doing something like that would be a great idea. So yeah, incoming a long night of me running around somewhere around here, just gathering zombie villagers, even though I will only need like 2 to start the reproducing project. Still, that's 2 more villagers that I have than what I have right now. So yeah, tiny bit on the grindy part, are we? Now, that's gonna be it for today's episode. Don't worry, it's gonna be a little bit of a shorter one, and it's gonna be a little bit of a non-progressive one, but I really needed to catch up with you people, especially since this hasn't been an episode for 2 weeks, and I really felt like I need to get you guys up to speed on what I've been doing in all of this free time, since you guys do realize I can't not play this game even when I'm not recording, and that's a bit of a problem for me personally too, because there's not much time when I can record, but there's a lot of time when I can just play without talking to the microphone, which will be actually very beneficial to me once the replay mod updates to 1.11, and there has been some news that it's gonna be somewhat soon, so get ready for epic time lapses. But for now, that's gonna be it, and thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do leave a like, and if you are pumped for the chapter 3 of the FullStack season 2, then you probably should be. Yeah, rightfully so. This has been FullStack. This has been FullStack. To be continued. Have a good one. Bye bye.